You know, there's always going to be a moment for a lot of you guys when you meet a woman for the first time that, you know, maybe you've been talking to this woman for a few weeks. I remember I had one of my clients, he met some woman online and probably a few weeks ago, and all of a sudden everything was going good, and then she got all quiet and everything, and she didn't respond to him. Now, before he even got with me, he started trying to do everything on his own, which I've always told him don't do, but he was trying to do it on his own, and he did what mostly every guy does in a situation, and that is panic. For some reason, because he didn't know what he was doing, he sent a follow-up message thinking that this is what he needed to do in order to get the woman's attention, and that's not what you do in the game. I've always tried to tell a lot of young men not to do that. You know, not to go ahead and try to get somebody. You know, not to. I won't say harass, but sometimes a woman is going to tell you what she's thinking. But what he did was he sent her a message to just say hi. Then the next time he sent her a message where he tried to send something funny, and he kept sending her messages over and over and over again and never got a reply. And we talked, and he was saying every hour that this happened, he felt smaller and smaller, and he felt really bad about that. And in his mind, he thought he did something wrong. And the only thing he did wrong is he forgot his worth. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. And afterwards, after a while, she eventually replied. And when she replied, he was so excited by the reply, the conversation went very bad. And it just came off totally different from the conversation he had when he first met her. Okay, that something weird had shifted. Okay, something was gone, and he felt like she was just like, there was like a huge distance. And I don't know, for a lot of guys, it just takes sometimes it takes a long time to understand what happened in that silence. And when you can finally understand and actually learn how to read the situations completely and see what's going on in the situations, you're not going to really have any issues or really have any problems with women. And that's what we're going to talk about today, because a lot of young men out there are they're reading the every situation wrong, and that's what we're going to talk about, and that's what we're going to discuss today on today's show. Because here's what I know, and I want to share with all you young men out there, that when a woman goes silent on you, and she's going to go silent on you guys, that's just part of the game. And when a woman does go silent on you, I want you guys to realize something. The texts are going to slow down sometimes, and especially when she gives you one-word answers, when she all of a sudden seems suddenly hard to reach. Most guys believe that they're watching rejection happen in that moment, and they believe that they're losing that woman, and they believe that they need to jump on it and act immediately before they lose her all together. And they're wrong, okay? And the problem that they're wrong in when it comes to the game is that it's the beliefs that they have is actually destroying their chances with the woman. And that's what we're going to be talking about today for all you guys out there. And gentlemen, please put 100 if you're having these problems already and you're like, damn, what do I do, man? So what's going on for a lot of you guys out there? For many of you guys, sometimes it's not just her pulling away. Sometimes she's got a test, okay? And sometimes what you guys have to understand, women are not, or don't have like a strategy guide or some kind of guide out there to use to try to manipulate you or anything like that, okay? But what I keep trying to tell you, there's always going to be something inside of a woman that has to know who's in front of me. who's in front of me? Is this the guy who pretended to be a dominant man, or is this a guy who acted like a dominant man, but he can't handle the rejection? You know what I mean? Can he handle the rejection? Can he handle me? You know what I mean? So I think for many guys out there, that's where a lot of guys go wrong in all of this. Women are going to, from time to time, they're going to try to see who you are. They want to know. They want to know at the end of the day, what kind of man are you? And they want to know at the end of the day, are you good enough with yourself? Are you okay with who you are? You know, if you're okay with who you are, then there's not going to be too many problems out there. And the way you respond, gentlemen, you got to write this down, because all this is going to come down to how you respond, because the way you respond to a woman is going to tell her and show her where she's at. Guys, I can tell you a lot of times when it comes to the game, man, you know what? Women are going to pop in and pop out. Now, once you begin to learn the game, the reason they're going to pop in and pop out on you is because they know they're not going to have that control over you that they actually have over the average guy. And that's going to kind of shock them. And I want to make sure that you guys don't beat yourselves up, try to come up with the right message or do something to say, okay, well, I've got to be more, I've got to do more, I've got to say more, and things like that. No. But y'all got to understand, young men, when a woman is developing feelings for a man, her instincts begin to run checks, okay? It's just how it is. There's a checklist that she's doing, okay? Because she's not looking at you. This is why I keep trying to tell a lot of you young men that people don't understand. She's actually looking below the surface to see what kind of man you are at the end of the day. And she needs to know, is this the kind of person that can handle that? You know what? Some women don't want to be tied down. That's true. Some women don't want to be tied down. Some women want their freedom. Some women want to casually date other people. Women just, whatever she wants to do is what she wants to do. But she's trying to see what kind of man you are. And the fastest way for her to check to see what kind of person you are at the end of the day is actually withdraw from you, okay? See, she knows if a person panics or floods her with messages and things like that, or changes his tone, he gets needy, aggressive, apologetic, and he starts apologizing for everything like that. She knows deep down that person's not really stable, and that person's someone that she doesn't need to mess with. Remember, there are always checks and balances women have, because remember, she's just trying to go through her folder to see if you are an open loop or a closed loop, okay? And what is very important is she's so used to open loops that she has to kind of smoke you out, because we're in a time and age where a lot of young men are just pretending to be certain things and not really being what they say they are. Now, I want you to see and listen very closely, because gentlemen, there is going to be a huge difference between a woman who is testing you and a woman that's just not messing with you at all, okay? A woman who is not messing with you is not going to say anything. She's going to recognize it. She's saying, I don't want to waste my time. I'm just going to move on, okay? She's, and every woman is going to start off, Jimmy, every woman's going to start off excited. They're going to be excited. They're going to be happy. They're going to send you messages, emojis, and everything like that under the sun, okay? And sometimes they're going to pull back. Now, remember, gentlemen, I've always told you, you do have to understand that the majority of women out here have priorities as well. And I think it's something people don't understand. When you first meet a woman, you're not her priority. I'm telling you, you are not her priority at all. What does that mean? That means that that woman has, again, her parents, her friends, her job, if she has a child, whatever's going on in her life, she's got a top 5 list of priorities, not to mention other guys she might be talking to. So there might not be any interest in that because you haven't moved up in there. So I don't want you guys to think that just because a woman goes away that she doesn't like you. You're just not a priority yet. But sometimes the sounds that she has is testing for is that, do you like her enough to reach out, okay? She's trying to see what you actually are. And that's what we call smoking you out. It's kind of like the third pig. The wolf didn't have to worry about the three pigs in the store. He could just sit there and let them smoke their asses out. Could have smoked them out or could have waited. They'll have to eventually come outside. But that's the problem with a lot of these guys out here. She needs to see what kind of person you are. Are you busy with your own world? Are you doing your own thing? What kind of man are you when I'm away from you? But I'm going to give you something later on in this to show you how to use that silence to flip the script on her, because a lot of women are not used to what I'm going to teach you and tell you and all this. But here's the thing that most guys miss when it comes to the game, man. That means that they're sitting around here in this silence trying to conjure up what they think they should say and what I think I should do. And well, what if I say this and she does that? And what if I move here and she moves there? That's where all the problems go at. You're overthinking this all the time. So I just want y'all to remember, I just want you to take for a moment, imagine two men in the same situation. A girl goes quiet, okay? A woman, well, not a girl, but a woman just stops talking to you and everything for maybe 1 day or 2 days, okay? So you gotta look at both of these guys. The first guy is gonna send up a follow-up. The guy's gonna tell himself, you know what, I'm just being casual. I wanna let her know I'm interested in her. I wanna make sure that she knows that you know, I'm really into her and I wanna date her and all this other stuff. So what all he does all day is that he starts to really put more pressure on himself. Start to adjust his messages. Before he sends his messages, he looks it over 4 or 5 or 6 times and he's wondering, what am I going to say and what am I going to do? And all you can understand, he goes through so much stuff, and that's what. But the second guy is, oh, guess what? You know what? She's silent, but he's real cool about it. You want to know why? Because he left enough impact on her when he was talking to her where he actually flipped the script and he used her silence against her. And we're going to talk about that in a second, man. But what you'll notice between the two guys is that the one that, and again, guys, I'm not telling you to pretend, okay? Because it's going to show, okay? That's not what this is about. I don't want you to pretend. But I want you to ask yourself, which one do you think she's going to respect more? The one that's forcing, questioning, sending jokes and all this other stuff, bombarding her, triple texting, quadruple texting her and all that other stuff, versus the guy that just, you know, stood on his square. He left it where he left it. She said what she wanted to say and he moved on. So that's the one, guys, I want you guys to think about. Gentlemen, it is not your fault. It's okay. It's cool. A lot of you guys just don't out there, okay? I know a lot of you guys know the answer, but what I'm saying is that most people don't understand how this works, okay? The next time a woman goes quiet on you, okay, and they will go quiet, even on the best of us, they will do that. It is not because of you yet. But it can be you if she notices, because of her emotional perfect pitch. I've always said her emotional perfect pitch is always going to weed out the fake ones. That's why you can't cheat the game. That's why you can't cheat women, because the moment you start doing that is the moment that you're going to lose, okay? This is a thing this is a truth that a lot of guys will never figure out. See, the version of you that stays calm and has his own life and everything like that, that's what she's checking for. See, you want her to wonder, why aren't you? That's what we want to do. And that's why I always tell you guys, from the moment that you put your bid in and then you start talking to her, this is what actually changes up the game, because women are just not used to men talking to women the way I show you guys. And the way I show you how to talk to women, the way I show you how to move, and always, no one else teaches you this, because we've been teaching this for Lord knows what, land, sea, air, and space. I always want to leave an impression enough on her where even in her silence, she'll go back and see my voice message. In the silence, she can see my video. But in the silence, she knows that I'm not playing around because I've already established that, you know what, this is why I'm here. This is what I want to do. And I'm just going to sit back and wait for you to decide what you want to do. But I'm not here to waste my time. That's the key to all of this. I am not going to waste my time. So that means that the moment, now again, gentlemen, she doesn't have to respond to you in a 24, 48. She can respond when she wants to. But gentlemen, I just want you to understand this. A woman that is interested in you is going to reach out to you. And if she's not interested in you or 50-50, then she's going to show you because her actions and her effort are going to show you. So a woman that doesn't display action and effort is a woman I'm not even sweating. I'm not going to sweat that. I'm not going to worry about it. I'm not going to sit here and say, well, why didn't she? Okay. All right. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave something impactful. The way I'm going to text her, the way I'm going to talk to her, gentlemen, is going to be that thing that you have got to change. We have got to stop chit-chatting with women and beating around the bush. The more you chit-chat, the more you beat around the bush, the chances you're messing yourself up. We have to get to the point. And I'm not saying the point, it cannot be sex, man. I know a lot of y'all guys want to just say, hey, okay, I want to have sex with you. The world doesn't work that way. I wish it did, but it doesn't. It doesn't work that way. Instead of talking about and showing her sex, why don't you show her how sexy you are by the way that you send the messages? Every time I send a message, and I teach y'all guys this, every time I send a message, for all the guys got the text message package, and y'all notice I'm always doing a little bit of light flirting, but I'm always doing a little bit of leading. See, the thing that I've always told you that you have to do is you've got to smoke her ass out by putting her in an action, okay? Action is everything. Now, I always will give this to you for free. You do, hey, I want to let her know I want to move this thing forward. And she's going to say, well, what do you mean move this forward? I want to get to know you in a more intimate way. What? You want to have sex with me? What do you mean? What is that intimacy stuff? What does the intimacy thing mean? Well, then I always give y'all this for free. Yeah, I always tell you this is for free. If you're trying to move things forward and a woman tries to act ignorant and doesn't know, just guide her, put her in action. And what is the action? Tell her to go into the bathroom, turn on the light, do a 360 in the mirror, and see why I want to get to know you in a more intimate way. But you know, it goes into the bid and everything like that. I'm not going to give all that out. I'm just saying that, gentlemen, what's important is we want to put the woman into an action. We want to make sure that she knows I'm not here to be your friend. That is so important. I am not here to hang out with you. I'm not here to chit chat with you, but I'm not rushing to get between your legs. I'm going to show you enough depth and range in the way that we talk to each other that I'm going to do what? I'm going to open up the loop. That is the most important thing. If I can open up the loop, I can leave her on silence and let her process, why isn't Steve reaching out to me? What is Steve doing? Let me go back and listen to an audio that he said. There's so many ways, gentlemen, that you can communicate to a woman that is going to cause the open loop. Then what's so important is, in order for you to actually be able to create that open loop in that woman, you must be a closed loop. An open loop cannot open up a loop. You have to have a closed loop and have the game, gentlemen. But I am going to say this to you guys out there, and it's very important that you understand at the end of the day. What is very important here is that when you are talking and when you are moving with a woman, always put her in action. Remember, gentlemen, within the first 3 messages, go ahead and set up the date. And a woman can do a counter move and tell you, well, you know what, I don't know you well enough yet. Well, okay, let's continue talking. But just as long as we're moving towards intimacy, which is the truth, I'm cool with it. And then when she asks you that question, what do you mean by intimacy? Then you break that down. That's where to get the game from. But I want you guys to realize that sometimes women are going to smoke you out with silence. And I want you guys to be very, very cautious and very careful about how you text women. Don't text to just text. Don't talk to just talk. Not talk, but text with intention. What do I want to do with this text message? Where do I want to send this? What is the move I want to do? And how do I want to put her in an action where I'm not wasting my time? Because, I mean, guys, y'all can talk and all this other stuff, but, I mean, again, light. Let me give y'all some light ones. I love asking for photos. That's one of my things. I love asking for photos. And sometimes women get the wrong impression because they think when you ask for a photo, because they're so used to guys being so thirsty, they're under the impression that when someone asks for a photo, they're asking for a naked photo. So you gotta be honest with it. You know, if you're thinking about, shoot me a photo, let me see you right now. I'm thinking about you, let me see you right now. That's fine. But if a woman tells you, check my IG, or I'm busy, or I don't have time, or anything like that, gentlemen, she's just saying, you can smoke her ass out. That's what I'm saying. You can smoke her out. And I don't want y'all to get caught up in that trap, okay, gentlemen? So I want y'all to process this and remember, it is very important that you go ahead and get your pathway and go ahead and begin the process to learn how to close that loop. Until you close the loop, you will never be able to open the loop. The open the loop is in the silence. She thinks about you, processes you, wants to talk to you because she wants to move things forward. Yes, in this world, women will want to mess with you and move things forward. It is totally how you move, how you think, and everything like that. But gentlemen, that's going to be the end of our discussion and everything like that. Gentlemen, make sure that you soak up this game, guys. We are always going live, and we're always have YouTube shorts and a lot of information for you guys out there to soak up absolutely free. But gentlemen, please listen at the end of the day. When she goes silent, don't panic. Just make sure you put enough on the table to say, okay, I'll put it all out there. Is she wasting my time? Because I'm not running behind a woman, nor do I want you to do that, okay? Guys, if you need your boy, you know how to get at me, man. Let's go ahead and get this game, man, and I will definitely talk to you guys later. Peace.